Ben, a former police officer, was suspended from the force after a shootout in which he killed a criminal. Unable to cope with the heavy burden of guilt, Ben turned to alcohol. Because of this, he lost not only his job, but was also thrown out of the house by his own wife. But Ben is trying to get his life back on track. He quit drinking, takes antidepressants, and is desperately looking for a job so he can regain his wife's trust and stop living at his sister's expense. There aren't many decent job opportunities for an ex-cop, so he takes a night security guard position at the huge Mayflower department store, a building that was almost completely destroyed by a horrific fire 5 years ago. Dozens of people burned alive in that blaze. During his first tour of the ruined store, Ben notices one very strange and unsettling detail. Against the backdrop of charred walls and destruction, the mirrors look impossibly clean, as if they had just been polished. His colleague calmly says there's nothing to worry about. Cleaning the mirrors isn't part of their job. It was the previous guard's personal hobby. His name was Gary Lewis. Already on the first night while patrolling the dark halls, Ben sees something truly terrifying. Children's handprints appear on the mirror surface. No matter how hard he tries, he can't wipe them off because they are inside the glass. And in the reflection, a door slowly opens that remains tightly locked in reality. Any normal person would have quit immediately. But Ben desperately needs this job, so he returns for the next shift. That's when the mirrors show what they are truly capable of. In the reflection, Ben watches people writhing and burning alive in the fire. Then the mirrors make him feel that pain himself. His own reflection appears engulfed in flames, and Ben literally feels his skin burning and his flesh charring. After a short but agonizing seizure, the vision suddenly ends, leaving him drenched in cold sweat. Still, Ben can't stop. He drags a large mirror over to one of the fitting rooms so he can keep watching. After his shift, he goes to his sister and tells her everything in a trembling voice. She looks at him in horror and begs him to quit that cursed job and get some sleep. But leaving isn't so simple. Soon a package arrives from the previous security guard, the man Ben replaced. Inside are old, yellowed newspaper clippings about the Mayflower fire. The nightmare continues. During the shift change, the daytime guard whispers that the previous watchman was found dead. Ben, following his old cop instincts, goes to the morgue. His ex-wife, who works there as a pathologist, lets him see the body. She says the man committed suicide by slashing his throat with a shard of mirror. Ben notes grimly that people don't usually kill themselves that way. At that moment, the reflection of the dead guard in the mirror quietly whispers one word: Escalating. While Ben was investigating, the mirrors decided the ex-cop was getting too bold. To make sure he understood he had to obey, they strike at the person closest to him, his sister. The evil force makes the girl rip her own face apart with her bare hands, turning it into a bloody mess. In response to his sister's brutal murder, Ben shoots one of the mirrors in the store in a fit of rage. The bullet shatters the glass, but within seconds the cracks disappear and the surface becomes perfectly smooth again. Ben's nerves finally break. He shouts at the reflection, "What the hell do you want from me?" Suddenly, deep cracks begin to spread across the mirror's surface. They slowly form letters right before his eyes, and the glass itself spells out one word: Escalating. Ben tries to find out what the word means through his old police connections, but gets no results. Then he learns where the arsonist who set the Mayflower fire was before he died. It turns out the man had been in a psychiatric hospital. Ben drives there and speaks with the psychologist. The doctor shows him the session recordings in which the arsonist frantically says that mirrors killed his family. He started the fire to get revenge and destroy them, but he failed, just like he failed to find Escalating. Realizing that his own family is next, Ben panics and removes every mirror from his wife's house and the children's rooms. When his wife arrives, called by the nanny, she is horrified to see that her ex-husband has completely lost his mind and is scaring the kids. In desperation, Ben drags one of the mirrors outside and shoots it right in front of his wife to show how it usually heals itself instantly. But this time, the mirror stays broken. Unable to take any more, Ben returns to the burned-out store and begins searching every corner. In the flooded basement, he discovers a hidden room with a grotesque mirror installation and a chair in the center. Next to it hangs an old sign, St. Matthew's Hospital. Through his old colleagues, Ben obtains a case file from 1952. It describes how on October 6th, a horrific massacre took place in the psychiatric ward of St. Matthew's Hospital, which once stood in the same building. All the patients were killed. Among them was supposed to be a 12-year-old girl named Anna Essaker. But after carefully studying the documents, Ben realizes Anna was discharged 2 days before the massacre. She survived. He's about to go look for her when his wife calls. Her voice trembling with fear, she says she now believes him. Their son was talking to his reflection, and the reflection didn't stand up when the boy walked away. Ben rushes home. Together with his wife, they frantically destroy every reflective surface in the house. After that, he sets out to save his family, strictly ordering his wife to lock herself inside with the kids and not approach any mirrors until he deals with Anna. At the old Essaker family address, Ben finds Anna's brother. The old man first lies and says his sister died during the massacre, but Ben presses a gun to his head and forces the truth out of him. The brother confesses. After Anna returned home, terrifying things began happening with the mirrors. Their terrified parents sent the girl to a nearby monastery where there were no mirrors at all. Ben drives to the monastery, finds Anna, and demands the full story. In a quiet, weary voice, the nun tells him how as a child she was possessed by an evil demon. The psychiatrist diagnosed her with schizophrenia and prescribed a brutal treatment. 2 full days, tied to a chair, in a room completely covered with mirrors, forced to stare at her own reflection without stopping. In the end, the plan worked. The demon left her body and moved into the mirrors. Now, this ancient evil desperately wants to return to living flesh, but Anna swears she will never let it back in, even if it keeps killing innocent people. Meanwhile, the demon isn't wasting time. Using Ben's young son, it floods the entire house with water, turning the floor into one huge, perfect mirror. When his wife calls Ben in panic to tell him what happened, he gives Anna an ultimatum. Either she comes with him willingly, or he will take her by force. The nun agrees to go. Together they descend into the store's basement. With her eyes tightly closed, Anna sits down in that terrible chair and quietly warns him, "When I open my eyes, run. Run as far as you can." Ben nods, but instead of running away, he simply hides around the corner. When Anna opens her eyes, the demon roars into her body with terrifying force, and every mirror around them explodes with a deafening crash. It seems like it should finally be over, but it's only the beginning of the final nightmare. Ben comes face to face with the demon now possessing the nun's body. A brutal, one-sided fight begins. Ben has a gun, but the demon has superhuman strength, blinding speed, and the ability to crawl across walls and ceilings like a spider. Still, Ben manages to lure the creature toward the gas pipes. One well-placed shot and a massive explosion buries the evil beneath tons of collapsing rubble. Climbing out of the smoking ruins, Ben feels a wave of relief as he sees police and firefighters already on the scene. His replacement is already giving a statement. But the relief lasts only a few seconds. No one notices him. Everything around him looks strangely mirrored, including himself. Ben approaches one of the remaining reflective surfaces and realizes with pure horror that he has no reflection. He is trapped in the mirror world. In despair, he presses his palm against the cold glass, leaving a clear handprint, and that's how the film ends.